What's happening, people? It's time for the Worst of the Year awards by yours truly, but not just me. We want to get the people involved. That's right. All 0 people watching this live stream right now. We want to get you guys involved with the voting. Um, Everybody does best of the year, right? Oh, who was the best fighter of the year? Who was the best, this of the year? And I like to go, you know what? No, like let's do the worst of the year. Who screwed up the biggest? Who failed the hardest? Who had the worst performance? I want to do the worst of the worst. And I'm glad that Kenny says, I'm here for my prize, worst viewer of the year. Not true, Kenny, but I don't care about people were throwing out like in the Discord, people were like, "Oh, like worst YouTuber, worst this, worst." It's like I don't care about that. I don't want to know who the worst YouTuber was. It's probably me, but I don't want to know who the worst internet person was. I don't care about that. I want to do the worst fight. Like I want to do stuff that's combat sports related. I don't care about all this other dumb shit. I want to do combat sports only, even though this is inherently stupid too. I guess judge on a scale who is the worst anything in combat sports. Joey is the worst, but it's not important. All right, duly noted. Hank is the number one MMA gay tuber. All right, see, like this is the stuff that doesn't matter. Like I don't give a shit about people on the internet that talk about MMA YouTube. And honestly, like that's a big problem on this forum is that most people only care about drama or what's needed drama's feet looking like this week. That's not what I'm here to do. It's not why I started this channel, was to talk about other people like on the internet. What I want to do is I want to do the worst things related to combat sports. So I don't have anything definitive, so I want you guys to help me. I have some suggestions. We can it's gonna be I'm anticipating this will be a long live stream. So I have the trophy ready for every category that we want to get into. Let's see, how do I want to do this though? That's the real question. Should we do it on Canva? Should we do it on Canva or I think this will work. Should work. Can do this on Canva. So I got just like the thumbnails laid out. I got this thing right here. If it'll load. I think I need to delete a bunch of stuff off my computer because I do a lot of thumbnails and they're just all like every YouTube thumbnail I've ever saved is on this computer. I think it might be slowing my computer down a little bit. So my screen share has been worse as the days go by. How do we want to do this? Okay. So basically, I'm guessing kind of like this. And then, so I have some suggestions. You guys can give me suggestions. I know you guys are starved for content. So I'd really appreciate your participation in this. Worst promoter, Dana White's Instagram live. See, that's the kind of stuff we need to get into. I like that. I like worst promoter is that we can add that. I have a little note section over here, by the way. It's good to see SS Jackson. Okay, I like that. Worst promoter. But I like that, but I think that kind of goes hand in hand with like worst organization, worst combat sports organization. So I want to do like worst organization, worst fighter, worst stoppage. That's a good one. I like to do worst referee. I think it should be Mark Smith. What is up, Wyatt? Good to see you. So let's actually start writing some of these down. So worst promoter. I think that kind of goes hand in hand with worst organization. Worst organization. And I know that a lot of you just watch the UFC. I'd like to expand our knowledge, put it to the test a little bit more and really get like let's look across combat sports. Like I'm talking kickboxing, boxing, all that fun stuff. So worst organization, worst referee, worst worst fighter of the year. We have any other suggestions for categories, and then we'll get this hammered out, and then I'll make a video or something out of everything. It would probably be a lazy video like I used to do my picks. By the way, I don't think I'm gonna do. I don't know if I'm gonna do picks videos like that anymore. Nobody. It's just not the content that I'm interested in making. Worst fumble. Worst fumble's good. That would probably inherently be UFC related. Worst crash out. Do you have like a suggestion for like a worst crash out? Nothing comes to mind for me. Worst fumble of the year. I kind of like that fumble of the year. Prettiest ring girl. See, Wyatt. I like that. I trust me, I like that, but that doesn't really. Did you not read the video title? It's the worst of the year. You know what? I kind of like that though. I kind of like that. I fucking love me some ring card girls, but that's not inherently, that doesn't really work with what we're going for here. So I'm gonna say no. Strickland's crash out. I don't even know. I don't see, you guys are more in tune to like what happens outside the cage. I'm more interested in like what happens inside the cage. Ugliest fighter, thickest Japanese MMA girl. See, again, you guys are not. You guys aren't listening. Oh, the one where he stormed in the cage, dude. That was that this year. Oh my god, I forgot all about that. Wow, that's fucking funny. Dude, that is a great one. All right, worst crash out goes to Sean Strickland. Is there a worse one? I think we already got one. Nice. Worst crash out of the year. Sean Strickland. Wow. Wow, that's quite the doozy. That was like 2 months ago. Was that really? All right, hold on, let me see. Sean Strickland storms cage. We have a nice image of that. Yeah, yeah, we do. It's very blurry, but it works. Extremely blurry. God, we kind of need to do this in No, I can just add another page. Duplicate. Bop. And I make this into a slideshow. I think I converted it into a slideshow really quick. You can resize. Let's see. Get out of here. I think we can make this a slideshow. I think this works. 1 sec. That looks beautiful, doesn't it? Let's make this a little bigger. looks Chris. All right. So we'll do worst crash out. Crash out of the year. Yes, it'll go to Sean Strickland when he stormed the cage because this guy beat his teammate up. That's a great suggestion. Beautiful. That's exactly the kind of stuff we're looking for around here. Beautiful job, Tyler. Oh, oops. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? What the hell? Fraud of the year, Patchy Mix. Man, why you guys always got to beat up on Patchy? What did he ever do to you? Oh man, that is like really. Can you get out of here, sir? It's gonna work. Oh my god, I'm probably lagging so hard. All right, that's not important. Okay, worst crash out of the year, Sean Strickland. Love it. Love everything about it. Beautiful. Okay, why is this not popping up? All right, there it is. All right. Sorry. The one where the coach KO'd Vanderlei, not as crazy. Worst case scenario, Paul Hughes getting robbed in the first Nurmagomedov fight. Worst case scenario, that would kind of worst decision. That's like a professional grade worst of the year too. Valid one. Fraud of the year is a decent one. I don't really like using the word fraud in combat sports very much. Patchy Mix. See, the reason I wouldn't put Patchy Mix is because he already had his. Dude, the guy was a champ in Bellator. I mean, can you really call a guy a fraud if he was champion in another reputable organization? I don't think so. I do like fraud of the year is interesting. Trash talking gone wrong. The real fraud, like financial fraud, like that rigged fight. Worst decision. Worst decision's good. I like that. I like worst decision. We can add that worst decision. All right, what do you guys got? Biggest letdown of the year. Oh, okay, so you would say Patchy Mix was the biggest letdown. I'm trying to think of a bigger one. John Silva crashing out on Diego Lopez in the cage. Was that in the cage? That was at the press conference, though, right? Can of the year equals fraud check of the year. No, because remember when like God, the guy who beat Shogun. Remember that guy was Ihor Poteria. He would be like can of the year, but he doesn't fight anymore. So like, I was thinking like Cody Brundage, Jose Medina. That's a good one. Okay, we can do that. Can of the year. So he'd be okay. So wait. We have to establish this though. Like, is can of the year worst fighter of the year though? Because I feel like worst fighter of the year should be like a good fighter who just had like a bad year, or somebody that like is universally hated. Like that year Rose Namajunas just like lost all of her fan base. She would have been worst fighter of the year, right? I don't know why I'm messing with this. Jose Medina, true, canon fraud are not the same thing, right? Someone else recommended can of the year earlier. Wasn't my idea. No. I'm just saying, like, I don't know why I screamed, no. So I have worst promoter, worst organization, worst referee, worst fighter, worst fumble, worst crash out. That award already went to Sean Strickland. Worst decision. I do like worst or biggest can of the year. Biggest can of the year. Now, interesting for can of the year. Shout out to one of my Discord members, Showweather. He told me there's a guy. Hold on. He had a really good suggestion for that one. He said Rafael Sicaria went 0-3 in 2025, and 2 of them were brutal finishes. I like that. And I said, well, can you give me somebody more obscure? And he said, Dumar Roa, 0-7 in 2025, and 6 of them being in the first round. That's bad. I feel like that guy should take the cake. Let me see. Kevin Holland. Ooh, I love that. Worst fighter of the year suggestion. Kevin Holland. That's a great. I fucking love that. What was Kevin Holland's record this year? Hold on. Worst fighter of the year. We'll go Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland. And then we'll do can of the year. I guess we'll go Cody Brundage. Cody Brundage. What did he say? Raphael. I can't spell that guy's name. Secura. He said, what was that fucking guy's name? He said, hold on. He said Dumar Roa. 0-7. And he got knocked out 6 times. God damn. 0-3. Okay. Sorry, I'll get back to your comments. Let me see. I'm gonna make sure my mic is okay. Can of the year is like bum of the year, like the bummiest fighter. Yeah. When I think of can, I think Kevin Holland. I think he would be worst fighter of the year, not biggest or worst. Biggest can of the year. Can I be your worst mod of the year? Sure. Worst Rogan take. I mean, I don't know like a Rogan take. I do know there was this one UFC event where he had all of his like tropes that everyone makes fun of him for. He said them all like in the same. He said that the fighting surface should be like this certain way. He talked about low kicks, and he said that arm bars were an unnatural fulcrum, or he said that steel cups were an unnatural fulcrum for arm bars. I lost my mind. Worst retirement. I like that. Who comes to mind? Who comes to mind? Worst retirement. Like okay, like somebody got beat down, maybe. Okay, worst retirement. Okay, I like this. Worst event. Worst event. I think worst events noteworthy. Dude, because Kevin lazy and proud about it. So sad. To actually get worst Rogan take though would be fun. Like have a highlight reel of them. I don't know how we're gonna find that unless someone knows. You'd have to go back through like all the UFC events and record them. The worst Rogan take is that John Jones is a good life coach for Gable Steveson. He actually said that. Worst retirement is Anthony Smith. What was Anthony Smith's last fight? That's a great question. I kind of like that. Anthony Smith. See, I don't know how you guys remember UFC stuff. I watch so much shit that I don't even know what happened in the UFC. But I would like to, like do more than just the UFC. Yeah, it was Zhang Ming Yang. He got knocked out in the first round. That deserves a mention for sure. I kind of like that. Worst retirement, Anthony Smith. First round KO. Who else retired this year? Happy New Year, T1. How you doing, my friend? Worst Joe Rogan take was that AI probably, yeah, but we're talking about MMA combat sports related, but thanks for the input. James Vick got fucked up in Karate Combat. Did he fight this year in Karate Combat? This is a 2025 year-end award show for the worst. He basically curled into a ball instantly. He might take the cake. I don't really know. Can we get another one? Well, how many categories do you guys want to have? Because so far we've got... Okay, let's go through them again. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves. Worst promoter or worst organization. We could do 2 or just 1. Worst referee, Mark Smith. Worst fighter of the year. Worst fumble of the year. Worst crash out of the year. It's going to go to Sean Strickland. Worst decision. Biggest can of the year. Worst retirement and the worst event. Do you guys want more than that, or should we go with some more? What was done to James Vick did generational damage? Did he fight this year? That's the question, though. Like, is it relevant to this year? James Vick. I don't think he did. Did he? What does that even count as? Karate Combat. Raphael Alves. That was in 2024, my friend. Worst build from a mate. Stupid. Worst ring card girl. Who would even be the worst ring card girl, though? Like, I don't really have a. That doesn't seem like relevant either. A couple more. Okay, so let's see. Let's go through them again. Is there a worst fight yet? No, there is not. Wait. Yeah, there definitely should be. Like that. Okay, worst fight. Worst fight of the year. Like that. Worst fight is too normal. It's normal. No, I think that should go on there. Okay, worst fight. Honestly, I don't really have any more. Worst promotion. Worst referee. Worst fighter. Worst fumble. Worst crash out. Worst decision. Biggest can. Worst retirement and worst fighter of the year. Or worst fight of the year. Worst championship fight. Yeah. Worst body style. That's stupid as well. Worst performance probably would be worst fumble, right? You could call it worst performance though. Who won a fight that they had a really bad performance? What was that one? Hold on, you guys just had a decent one. Worst commentator. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Denial. Love it. And it's gonna be Joe Rogan. 100%. I love that. Worst commentator. I love that. That was a great suggestion. Worst commentator. Now the issue is, again, I want to get worst post-fight speech. I don't really care about that. Unless there was a really, really bad one. Maybe that Josh Hockett one, which I actually didn't like. Fighter with potentially the worst breath. Hilarious. Worst retirement was Weidman. Save that. No, actually, hold on. I'll put it on the suggestion thing. Because I think Anthony Smith. Tell me how did Weidman go out? Weidman. I like that though. And we're just trying to get the categories. We'll break them down. But if something comes up, I have a little notes section. I'll add it to it. Worst press conference appearance. See, I think I don't want it to be like UFC heavy. So no, I would say no. Worst post fight speech. Worst strike attempt. I have a suggestion. I have a suggestion for worst strike attempt. Superlek trying to kick Yuki Yoza and falling right on his ass. He probably went out with his dad saying he's still my boy. Hilarious. Hilarious. Now you guys are making this just so easy. This is great. Thank you guys so much for contributing. We were on a roll there for a little bit, and then fucking Matua and Dirty Hippo came in. Worst hairstyle. Dumb. That's stupid. That's really stupid. How bad were the hairstyles though? Maybe. Okay, do we need more categories? We got, I think we should have like 10 categories, right? Worst promoter, worst organization, worst referee, worst fighter of the year, worst fumble, worst crash out, worst decision, 6. Biggest can, worst retirement, worst fight, worst commentator. That's 10. We got 10 categories. Worst death. Wow. Worst tattoo. Who got a tattoo this year that's really, really bad? I mean, these are getting weak. Worst walkout, kind of lame. His dad really did that. I know. Worst coach. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. Worst coach. Love it. Love it. So now bringing the heat. Worst coach. Worst coach. Love it. Love it. Love it. Worst sorest loser or the sorest winner? Can you bring one up? Worst fan base. I will add that just to shit on UFC fans. Love it. Worst fan base. Love it. Solid. That's 12. Worst nut shot. I fucking love that. That is fucking awesome. I love that. Worst ending of a career. Wyatt, that would kind of be like worst retirement, though, right? Worst nut shot. Worst way to win a fight. That's got to be Joshua Van. I mean, I don't mind that. Worst sportsmanship. Worst post-fight interview. No, that's dumb. Worst nut shot. I fucking love that. That's funny. That's funny. Worst nut shot. I can't think of one though. I would have to be in kickbox. Probably have to be in one, but it'd be like Pech Yang Tong Ra Dang Chan versus, Rambolek Pattaya Sumoi Stadium number 5. So I don't know. Worst sportsmanship, worst way to win a fight. Yes. I think that would be worst way to win a fight. Love that. I would suggest Joshua Van. That's got to be it, right? I don't know how you could even top that, but Nutshot is a personal opinion. There was this year though, Wyatt, where Fabricio Andrade, he need John Lineker so bad in the nuts that he fucking threw up and he pulled out his cup and it was like obliterated. It was crazy. Worst foul that never got recognized by the ref. Boo. My vote is Kevin Holland. Okay, maybe. But we need to get the categories hammered down, then we can start the voting. Worst eye poke. I like that. Worst broken limb due to a submission or non-sub KO. No, that's good. That's good. That's like a good thing. We want to. This is for all the bad stuff in combat sports. Worst champion has to be Aspinall in the UFC. Nah, it's too I don't want this to be a UFC award show. So no, we already got enough. We're already gonna have enough UFC stuff. Worst eye poke. I think we should throw that on there. I like that. Worst eye poke. I like fouls. Fouls are funny to me. Okay. Worst champion, good. Worst organized event. My pick is Fight Circus or that card that took forever. Yeah, Beyond Combat. Yeah. Worst rumor about a fighter. Stupid. Worst intermission performance at the event. That's really non-UFC related. So I think we can add that. Worst intermission performance. Who was that chick that sung the national anthem really bad this year? What event was that? Some chick really fucked up the national anthem. You guys remember that? I can't remember what that was. Worst champ. Worst interview. Now, worst weigh-in. This is all dumb. We need something better. Worst outfit? Could you have any suggestions? Because you can throw shit out there all day, but I think it was at a boxing event. Was it that David Benavidez boxing event? You can throw like categories out there, but if nobody has a suggestion, then it's like worst commentator. We got that, Bleachy. We got that. I want to say like DBX, that Jake Paul fight had insanely bad national anthem. I think you had enough for reaching now. So what is that, like 14? 14 categories? You guys are reaching around. All right. Prohaska Olberg. Sick. Thanks for sending me that. Fashion beat mine out. No, I mean, it's like, but I'm just saying, like, I didn't add it. I'm just saying, like, if you got a suggestion and it's like really, really bad, then we can consider giving it an award. I just checked it. Yeah. The one before that. Oh my god. I don't get it. Hold on. What is this about? Damien, that guy on Contenders. Oh my god, he's gonna get an award. That guy on Contender Series, Damian Pinas. He's gonna fight February 28th in Mexico City. Wow. All right, we gotta put Damian Pinas. Worst name of the year. Worst name of the year goes to Damian Pinas. Ah! Nice. Clutch, Tyler. Touch. Clutch, bro. Worst internet combat sports show? Okay, maybe. I kind of wanted to stay away from that, but maybe. We can have a vote on that one. The only thing that's reaching is you when you need to reach the top shelf, shorty. Not if I get a stool. What about best of the worst? Like, who had the worst year wins? Okay, hold on. I like this. Who had the worst year wins and losses, or how they lost wise? Suggestions? That's like kind of convoluted, right? Worst name. I don't like your name. Don't come back until you change it. Worst physique. Max the body. Max the body, dude. Max the body's sick. Shortest MMA YouTuber of the year. It might be me. What if this stool is on the top shelf? Well, I guess I'm fucked. I think I have a series of ladders to do my job with, so I could just go get one if I needed to. I'll hop up on the counter. Like, come on, man. Shortest MMA YouTuber. That's an award. Okay, are we good? Checkmate. Congratulations, sir. Are we good? Do we ready to start voting? Okay, all right, let's go. Let's run through them again. Worst organization or worst promoter, worst referee, worst fighter of the year, worst fumble of the year, worst crash out of the year, worst decision, that's 6. Biggest can of the year, that's 7. Worst retirement, worst event, worst fight of the year, worst commentator, 11. Worst coach, worst fan base, worst nut shot, worst way to win a fight, 15. Worst eye poke, worst intermission performance, and worst name of the year. So that's quite a few. I don't think we really need any more than that. Justin Taffa, can of the year candidate. Sure. I think we need 24 here. He's to acquire our 24 hours to acquire our nominees. Okay. I don't really mind that. I would like to I'd like to get it hammered out and at least cemented, like what our nominees are really gonna be. Worst MMA brothers. All right, yes. All right. We're done. We're done with that. All right, guys. So we already do have one award. It's worst craft of the year. It goes to Sean Strickland. I know you guys can't really see this very well. Here, let me actually just do this. You guys probably see this better if I did this. Can you guys even see that? I don't know. Worst arrest outside the cage. Last suggestion. Worst weight class. I like that. Women's bantamweight or heavyweight would have to be it. I don't mind that. What do you guys think? What does the chat think? I feel like that's a little obvious. No, I think we're gonna stick with what we got. I think we're straight. Okay, so yeah, worst crash out of the year. Sean Strickland. Remember, he ran into the cage and tried to fight the guy who beat his teammate. Remember that? Hilarious. Okay, here, let's do this. Because now we got to do this. So, all right. So, how many categories do we have? Like fucking 15 or something? Here, let's keep going. Hold on, let me. This would be an easier way to do. Okay, Control D. We got like almost 20. I think that should be plenty. I think we had 18. Yeah. Okay. We're straight. Okay. Okay. So let's go. Can you post the categories in Discord so I can research properly? Jamal Hill could be the worst type of guy. Hilarious. We're gonna get 2 votes if I post it in Discord. Nobody participates in anything I try to get going on Discord. So, all right, this is clearly gonna be the best way to do it, which is fine. Okay, guys. So we've got worst. I think worst name of the year is a given with Daniel Pinas. So let's go with worst organization. What was the worst organization this year? I have some thoughts. I guess I don't. Fuck. Worst organization of the year. Fight Circus. See, the problem with that though is like I would put it up there with worst event. But then it's also bad cuz worst show might go to Beyond Combat, like worst event, and then worst organization could go to Fight Circus. The problem is I think they only have like 1 or 2 a year. I think they did have 2 last year though. That was the one where Coleman had like um a wheelchair boxing match. Jack Hermanson, another worst year guy after dropping weight, just gets slapped even harder. That was bad. That was bad. Did he win this year though? Okay, worst organization. Stay focused, guys. Laser beam. Beam. Okay, Fight Circus. Tyler is suggesting Fight Circus. Do you go with the PFL? Do you go with the PFL? Yes, Matua. Oh, wait, wasn't GFL supposed to have their event this year? It might be the GFL. IFL, worst org, did lame AI videos and never put on a card. That was the GFL you're thinking of. GFL might take the cake. They only had one this year with no stream, and it wasn't even really real fighting. It's true. GFL might have to take the cake. GFL might have to take the cake. No, you're good. GFL and one of those kickboxing cards that lasted forever. Well, again, but like that, yeah, we can include boxing. Totally can include boxing. But that would include like worst event. We're talking about worst organization as a whole. Yo, thank you so much for the $5. Geo, let's go. Stay focused. The GFL is obviously the worst. True. GFL literally signed everyone and let them all down. It doesn't get much worse. All right. Love it. Okay. Beautiful, guys. Beautiful. See, look at that. We're productive around here. GFL. Thank you again for the 5, my friend. Watch my video. I sent it to you. Love it, guys. Beautiful job. The GFL. Bam! Perfect little picture for him too. The GFL. Let's see if we can remove the background. Beautiful. GFL. Okay, worst. Can't even fucking see it. Let's see. It's kind of hard to see, huh? Let's put it like right here. No, maybe we should just change the font color to like white. Where did it go? I swear I clicked white. Yeah, all right. Worst organization of the year goes to the GFL. Perfect. All right, now the next one. Oh, let's read some comments. UFC's lack of proper promotion really grinds my gears. Nice. The whole Instagram lives to promote fights fucking sucks, but the PFLs and Ngannou stumble in Africa also up there. Like that. I mean, you bring up a good point. Worst promoted, but see, either way though, like I mean, you're absolutely right. It doesn't get proper promotion, but either way, it's still like the best promoted, right? Because at least you get ads for it on like regular TV during football games and stuff. GFL takes the cake, but at least they tried to promote. That's true. I think they paid Ariel a bunch of money to go on his show. Personally, Darren Owen, but that's just me. Worst pullout of the year, Armin. Probably. PFL is still a good promotion because of the intermission musical performances always seem to deliver. I like that suggestion, Dirty Hippo. Well, maybe we could give it an honorable mention. Maybe we could do honorable mentions. Armin pulls out. Love it. Okay, I hate to agree with this motherfucker, but he's right. Salute to the dono. You salami. Wow. Look at the number of events held in Europe, and PFL is actually cooking. Africa too. Yeah, no. I mean, that's why I was like, do we do PFL? They had a really bad event though. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the worst referee. The worst referee of the year. I think it should be Mark Smith. That's throwing my vote in the hat. Do people vote out of hats? Referee of the year. Worst referee of the year. Now, what did Mark Smith do? He had a bunch of really bad stoppages early on in the year. Do you guys remember that? One championship is worse just due to lack of keeping stars active and losing people that badmouth them. Whereas the PFL is signing new talent and expanding. One championship is a better product, though. I don't want your participation trophy. All right. Herzog the cheater. Is there any evidence that he cheated in anything ever? That's the question, though. That's the real question. Because the dude's still reffing, you know? I think that Mark Smith had some egregious stoppages this year tied to gambling. Prove it. That's all speculation. There shall be no speculation around here. What was I just remember Mark Smith had like a couple really bad stoppages here. Let's actually look it up. Let's see, Mark Smith. UFC. .323 foul. He was named legal affidavit. An illegal affidavit. Prove it. I don't know what's gonna happen. Nothing, but my vote stands. Okay. Whoever ref the Kevin Holland versus Mike Malott fight. Hold on, let's check this out. Blah blah blah. Barber. Blah blah blah. Karine Silva. Unanimous decision. Midway through a fight, Barber absorbed an illegal upkick. Left her visibly dazed, yet no point was deducted by Mark Smith. Dismissed the foul as a glancing blow. That's true. Okay, so he fucked. Chris Tione is up there for me. Can you give me some instances in which he ruined a fight? Because I remember Mark Smith fucking up a lot of fights. Whoever ref the Kevin Holland versus Mike Malott fight. Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember Mark Smith. He fuck up the Tetsuro Taira stoppage too? And he fucked up another one. What is this? Is a Randy Brown stoppage against Bonfim. I actually like that stoppage. Ante Delia. Oh my god, that's right. Ante Delia fucking versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. Remember he stopped the fight and then he restarted it? Hold on, what's another one? He stopped the Chris Curtis and Roman Kopylov fight with the second left. What's this one right here? Neil Magny versus Jake Matthews fight? I don't know, look it up. Charles Johnson lights up referee Mark Smith after last second stoppage. Against Temerov, right? No. Oh, it was Kopylov and Curtis. Tiny was again under fire for missing multiple taps from Kevin Christian, who was in a rear naked choke against Billy Elikana. That was a bad one. Herzog with win and Yaya stoppage was horrible, like 6 knockdowns. I don't think any referee has had a worse year than Mark Smith, personally, though. Hold on, we got to edit this a little bit. Give me 1 second. I think it should be Mark Smith, but I will. This is your guys' show as well. So, okay. So again, apparently we've got Chris Tione, Herzog, and I'm the only one, I guess, suggesting Mark Smith. We can put it to a vote. We can put it to a vote. We can certainly do that. I think that most people would probably pick Herzog, which I don't think is like. I think Herzog has had a bad year. Worst referee in 2025. Herzog, Mark Smith. Herb Dean got out of the news, huh? Tognoni. I think that a lot of people from Isha's streams would probably pick Chris Tione because he always complains about him. He does miss quite a bit of fouls, but it's like a lot of referees do. So those are the 3 suggestions. We can put it to a vote. I think Mark Smith should get the cake. I think a lot of people would inherently pick Herzog because they think he's involved in some illegal gambling scandal, which you're saying he was cited in a legal affidavit. Again, that's pretty speculative to me in general, but fair enough. I'm not gonna say you're absolutely wrong in that. I just don't know what the proof is for that. Macy Barber doesn't want Mark Smith to ref for fights either. Hilarious. What about the Asian guy that refs kickboxing and Muay Thai for one sometimes when Olivier Coste doesn't? Madam Bloodbath, the ladyboy ref? She is a pretty bad ref, isn't she? He or she, I don't know if it's a dude or a chick or what. The Kopylov Curtis stoppage was weird. Also, Mark Smith. I think, and then the Cortez Acosta and Ante Delia fight was insanely weird stoppage as well. I think that I don't think anybody has had a worse year reffing than Mark Smith. Like, he's the clear, like, far and away winner all year long. He's had consistently bad calls and fucked up fights all year long. But that's just me. Whatever it is, it sucks. But I think that that's more like that run fact Goozy coming home early because nasty cut he got from Chris Curtis. Ah, man, that sucks. Yeah, he distracted me though. What was I even talking about? Oh yeah, that one championship ref. I think that's more like one's rule set is like kind of weird, and I think she's just trying to like. I think that they're paid to like make it as action packed as possible. The issue is though that like they don't call knockdowns. I like how we had 10 people in here when I was coming up with categories, and now we have 3. Now that we're actually doing the voting. Oh god, this is so dumb. All right, so we do have 5 votes. Chris Tione just received another vote. Tione is running away with it. He is. I'm gonna probably override it though. It does an ass job of making sense. And Olivier, it's his name is Olivier Cost. He doesn't pander to the BS. Olivier Cost has been involved in many Muay Thai and kickboxing controversies over the year. Fun fact. I want to pack Macy Barber full of action. Wow. Bazinga. Herzog. I'm probably going to override that. Or sorry, it's Tione. How the fuck is it Tione? Explain your decision to pick Tione. Explain that. I think that you guys are just brainwashed by Isha's hatred of that man. Every event he referees a fight and Isha's watching, he literally goes on a tirade on that poor old man. Leave him alone. All right, Mark Smith clearly had a way worse year than Chris Tione. Like just evidently. The evidence is too high against Mark Smith in my opinion. So I think you guys are crazy. Bleachy's frustrated. What's going on? What did I do? You guys are brainwashed. And Mark Smith is bald. Well, I think they're all bald besides Herzog. I mean, that's why people hate him. We'll let it go 5 minutes. I'll probably override it. Mark Smith is an Air Force veteran. That's probably why he's terrible at his job. Should have stuck with that. Well, I like that everybody in the chat voted. You never see that. All right, we're gonna end the poll. I'm going to override it, and I'm gonna give it to Mark Smith. Worst referee of the year goes to Mark Smith. Per my overvote, because around here, buddy. Bam. There he is. It's Mark Smith. Bam. All right. Next one would be worst fighter of the year. All right. So Kevin Holland has been thrown out there. And again, this is not Can. This is not Can of the year. This is like a good fighter, but bad. He's a really bad high-level fighter. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for worst fighter of the year. Kevin Holland has been a great suggestion. All right, hell yeah, Bleachy. Leon Edwards, that's a great suggestion. Okay, we've got Leon being suggested. Kevin Holland, Leon Edwards. Hermanson, okay. Hermanson. It's so sad. So sad. Leon solid, as is Kevin. Leon, because he should be good. Sure. What about KG? Can't even make weight. Kelvin Gastelum. The guy's been winning, though, right? That's the problem. He's been winning. He's been winning. I don't think I can put him on there. Leon Hermanson, Kevin Holland. Let's take a look. Do we have any more suggestions? Leon Edwards. Yeah, but again, Matua, he's gonna be can of the year, right? Because like, worst fighter of the year and worst can of the year aren't the same thing. Sakara is 100% going to be in the voting for can of the year, not fighter of the year. We got to separate the two. All right. All right. So so Leon went 0-2 and he got subbed and knocked out in high level fights. That's pretty bad. Kevin Holland. I just hate Kevin Holland. He fills me with more disdain. Kron Gracie. Did he even fight this year? I think he did, didn't he? Didn't he get fucked up by somebody? Okay, well, actually, Kevin Holland had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fights this year. He went 2-3. He got subbed by DeRitter, beat Gunner, subbed Luque, lost to D-Rod, and lost to Malott. Kron Gracie got knocked out from guard. Damn. Atafa. Okay, which one? They did get kicked. Didn't they both get axed from the UFC? Worst fighter is a good fighter who had a bad year, and the can is a trash fighter who had a bad year. Yes, Kron got knocked out from guard. Okay, so do we do the 2-3 Kevin Holland, and then let's look at Hermanson. Jack Hermanson. He had a bad year. For sure. So he lost. He had 2 losses to RoboCop and Oralby. Tafas are cans. Yeah, they probably are cans, huh? So do we go with the 0-2 Leon, the 0-2 Hermanson, or the 2-3 Holland? Jamal Hill. Did he lose? Gilbert Burns, or did he only fight once? Hold on, let me look up Kron Gracie really quick. Kron Gracie. He had Tawanshai would be an interesting suggestion as well. Broke his leg. Got his leg broke and got knocked out. Yeah. No, that was last year. Matua, with the Kron Gracie thing. Let me look up Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill. Holy shit's Dr. Pinar. What the fuck? Where's he been? Good to see you. Macy Barber got defeated by breast implants, aka a seizure. Hilarious. Good to see you, bro. How are you doing, man? So Hill, he's 0-2 as well. Lost to Yuri and Khalil. See, it's like, it's hard because it's like, do you like, because I would say those are 2 pretty good fighters, right? I would say those are 2 pretty good fighters. Hermanson lost to 2 pretty good fighters too. Kevin Holland lost to Mike Malott, RDR, and D-Rod, and had a competitive fight with Gunnar Nelson. Now, he did clean up on Luque pretty easily. I don't know. I think it should be Kevin Holland. Leon got knocked out by fucking Prates, and he got subbed by Brady, but he never did anything in either of those fights. I think it's got to be between Holland and Leon. You know what I'm saying? Well, we can slap the poll up there. Brian Ortega. Ooh. Pulled out of a fight. Right? Brian Ortega. Holland is good. He's not. He's not. He's a really bad fighter that can be good randomly. Okay, so all Ortega did was lost the decision to Aljo. And then remember, they were supposed to fight before, and he he pulled out of the fight. He's supposed to go up to lightweight, right? Take Holland off the list. No can do, my friend. I don't know. One fight. And then Holland, I think it should be Holland, guys. I think it should be Holland. But here, let's do Holland as the best offense. Oh my god, leave me alone. Leave me alone, Matua. Leave me alone, sir. Leon is as solid as. Oh, sorry. All right. Worst fighter of the year. So I think we got Holland, Leon. See, like Hermanson, I just don't think. I think that, like, I think Leon's ceiling was higher, and then to see him lose in the fashion that he did is really bad. So Luque himself. Vicente Luque. Do you even know what a 4570 is? I don't. I don't know what that is. Is it something about a gun? He went to decision with Alvarez. Hill was a champ, and then, if that's the logic, sure. Stipe Miocic. Oh, Money Moicano? Money Moicano. That's what Holland said to Rampage and made everyone him. Yeah, I know. I don't know what that is, though. Gilbert Burns. Only one loss. What's more accomplished than having a belt? Something Holland will never sniff. I just don't get it. Like, he was in. Dude, let me explain something to you. The thing I like about Jamal Hill is that he's game. He's game. Like, you can't tell me he wasn't game in those fights. You're acting like Hill just got clowned in those fights. I don't really think he did. He went the distance with Khalil. Like, I don't. Paul Craig. Oh my god, I love that. I love that so much. And he retired too. Paul Craig. Oh, what did wait, hold on. Somebody else said something. Bleachy said Moicano. Let me look that up. Moicano. Second largest. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Well, now I know what a 4570 is. Let's see. So Moicano lost to Islam and Benny. I thought Moicano won that fight. Those are competitive fights. Well, Islam obviously wasn't, but short notice. I don't really think that should count. Buchecha. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. Buchecha had a bad year. That might have to go in biggest fumble or honorable mention. Paul Craig. Yeah, that's right. He had the up kick, and then he got knocked out by Bukauskas and retired. That's funny as fuck. He's not a good fighter, though. I think it's got to go to Holland and Leon. I don't really, or Hermanson. Nah, I don't know. I think it's got to be either between Holland or Leon. Is there anyone else you really want me to put on the poll? Denial is like just Holland has wins. Yeah, but he sucks. He still sucks. I still hate him. I still hate him very much. Can we give just worst person in MMA to Kevin Holland? Can we give Kevin Holland a worst of the year award just for me? I mean, yeah, he does have wins. I still hate him though. Even when he wins, I don't feel joy watching Kevin Holland win a fight because I know he's gonna lose. Right? He's gonna eventually lose. So I think he wants Hill. I don't know. Hill can't. Dumas. Ooh, does he go in can of the year though? He might go in can of the year because we're trying to separate the two. Give Holland worst man of the year. I might just do that. Or my most hated fighter of the year. Yeah, Dumas is a can. We're trying to separate the two. So we've got Holland and Leon. Denial really wants Jamal Hill on there. I don't think he qualifies. Or he shouldn't be. I don't think he should be. All right, anyone else? So I got Holland, Leon Hill. We haven't really gotten anywhere with this long discussion. Ortega, Luque, Paul Craig. So okay, but like again, Matua, like we got to separate the two. Like worst fighter of the year would be like the fighter that had the most embarrassing losses, who is good and was fighting at a high level. Can of the year has got to be like this guy never had any good wins. Dumas, outstanding citizen of the year. Barbosa still was in fun fights though, and that's why I feel like it's got to be Leon Edwards. I feel like it just like far and away has to be Leon Edwards, right? I might not even put this to a vote. I think it has to be Leon Edwards. Like, right? I'm gonna do that. Through this discussion, I've determined that it is Leon Edwards, the worst fighter of the year. The man himself, headshot bang, Leon Edwards. It's got to be, right? Let's see. Fighter of the year. It's got to be Leon. He got clowned in his losses, dude. Like, he never looked good in his losses this year. All right. Perfect. So let's review. Worst of the year awards. We've got worst crash out of the year going to Sean Strickland trying to fight a guy in the cage after he actually going to move that over a little bit. After his teammate lost, we've got the worst organization of the year being the GFL. Worst referee being Mark Smith. Worst fighter of the year being Leon Edwards. All right, let's move on to another category. Cejudo? I think it's got to be Leon. Oh, Cejudo. Got you. As did Hill. Leon went night. Yeah. Like Jackie Boy. Sean jabbed and teeped in the street fight. He really did. Okay, let's do the next category. Let's move on. It is going to be the worst fumble of the year. So this is somebody who had an opportunity to do something great. Win it. Aaron Pico, maybe. Somebody who had a really good opportunity that they could capture one moment and they let it slip. Like the opposite of lose yourself. So this is worst fumble of the year. I'm going to suggest Aaron Pico. This is kind of like fraud check, whatever. Biggest hunk of the year. No. Read the title. This is worst of the year. Biggest hunk. Whoever cut Marcin Tybura's hair needs a failure award. Ante D'Elia versus Waldo. What? Johnny Eblen or Arman for me. Okay. Johnny Eblen or Arman. Because Johnny Eblen was winning that whole fight and he got subbed right at the end. I like that. Patchy Mix. But see, did Patchy Mix's bad run, did he debut this year? Let me see. I don't know. Was there? Who would that be? Oh, you're right. No, he did debut this year. Shit. It might be Patchy. It might be Patchy. I like that. We'll put him on there. Pico, Patchy. Love it. He was beating Waldo until the eye poke. Lost it. That's not really. I don't. He should have won. Eblen was up 4-0 and lost it at the finish line. Arman didn't even start the race after training for months. Fake back injury. And not only that, it like really screwed up his standing in the organization. All right, Eblen. Arman. I think I want to give Arman an honorable mention either way. Eblen is a good one. I do like that one. Silva. Nah, that fight was fun though. That fight was fun. That was a really good fight, man. I don't even think you could really fault him for losing that one that much. Ankalaev. Did he turn down a title fight? I don't know, man. I don't know. Arman. I like Arman Tsarukyan a lot. Maybe he should get an honorable mention just for screwing up the title fight. Ciryl Gane versus Aspinall. We're gonna put that at that's probably gonna go to worst eye poke of the year. That is a category that we have. That's probably gonna be worst eye poke of the year. So let's see, biggest fumble. I kind of like. I do like the Patchy one, but I kind of would like it for it to be like a singular moment. You know, worst fumble of the year. Okay. Ankalaev is the most humbled motherfucker of the year after talking all that shit. Sure. All right, so we've got Pico, Patchy, Eblen, Arman. To me, right now, it's between Pico and Eblen. Patchy definitely fucked up. We should have mentioned him the last one, worst fighter of the year. It's not like he got finished though. Khalil and Yuri, he was cruising and got flatlined. That made me so happy. That was a good fight though. Patchy talked a lot of shit too. He did. He really did. He really fucking did, man. Damn it. Patchy Mix used to be really good. Is it a fumble or a letdown? I don't know, man. Nicholas Mota? You guys are trying to like be like, oh, it was a fumble because it was a good fight. I don't know if that really counts necessarily. See, that's why I feel like Johnny Eblen's got to he's got to take the cake. I think he's got to take the cake. Is Patchy a fumble or is it a letdown? I mean, to be fair, like only like people who watched him in the Bellator Bantamweight Grand Prix really thought he could do something. And most people just thought he was a Bellator can that had no business in the UFC. So, same if there's expectations and you don't meet them, then is it a fumble? Right. Oh, then it's a fumble. Right. Nicholas Moto was beating Nas. It was a great fight, though. I say Eblen for making it to the fight and almost winning. Dude, and it was like a boring fight that he was just like controlling. Khalil was up by so much, and then he completely fumbled in the third. That was an interesting fight. That fight was really sick, though. I don't know. I don't think that should necessarily count. I think it's got to go to Eblen, and I think it has to go to 9 seconds left in the fight. The problem denial though is that people will be like, if I put it to a vote, people will be like, "Oh, that's like just stupid Bellator PFL bum losers. Of course they lost." I was watching that fight and it was so boring. I just turned it off. It was kind of like when I was watching Leon versus Kamaru. Was it 2 or 3 or whatever it was? And I was like, damn, this fight sucks. And I like literally was about to leave. I was about to leave. I was like tying my shoes to fucking leave, and then like he got knocked out. I think the Eblen one's got to go up there. I think it's got to be Johnny Eblen. 9 seconds left in the fight, and he gets subbed by fucking Costello Van Steenis. How many submissions does Costello Van Steenis have? Costello Van Steenis. Van Steenis. How many subs does he have? Oh, okay, he's got a few. He has quite a few subs. Same, and he didn't even get the immediate rematch. They went back to Fabian for the next show. They want Fabian Edwards as a champ, though. All right, I have to go Johnny Eblen. Costello Van Steenis. I think it's got to be. Oh, here we have a nice picture of it. Oops. Poor Johnny Eblen. Yes, up 4 rounds, loses with 9 seconds left in the fight. Gets sub, fight sucked. Eblen wants to be in the UFC anyways. Maybe he can get out of his contract with the new CEO. Maybe. I love it. I love it. Biggest fumble goes to what's his name? All right, worst decision. This is like one you thought was a robbery. Who what fight had the worst decision of the year? Let's see. Let's go to worst decision of the year. Now, this is probably going to be in a title fight, probably in the UFC. Again, I would love it if you guys could come up with something else that wasn't in the UFC unless it was very significant. Norma Dumont versus what, Catlin? That was a bad decision. But see, I don't think that was like a blatant robbery. Francis Marshall versus Marion Santos. Myron, I always call him Marion. Myron Santos was absolutely atrocious. Worst decision I've seen by far. Wow, you guys got a lot. Aldo versus Zahabi. I thought Aldo won. All right, sorry, Aldo versus Zahabi. Aldo, I don't remember that fight. This stream is fantastic. Yeah, thanks for being here the whole time. Fuck. I don't remember that fight. I feel like there's got to be like a clear, blatant robbery that was like for a pretty significant. I thought that Zahabi won the Cheeto fight, but I thought it was close. See, I don't know, man. It's like, do you guys really think those are like those ones you mentioned should be like worst decision of the year? God, I can't think of one. Oh man. Pogues. I think you're thinking of Jamal Pogues fought in the UFC this year. Can you do me a favor, Tyler? Look up MMA decisions and look up that fight. Yan versus Olberg. Jan Blachowicz? Pogues and Abdel Wahab. Now that one was in. Can we gotta think of a higher level one. Hughes Nurmagomedov won. Oh, I didn't watch that fight. I really wish I did. Hughes Nurmagomedov won. Bleachy, when you watched it, did you think that Hughes had like won 4 rounds or 3? Or was it like 3-2? You thought maybe there was a toss up? Hughes and Usman was a bad one. Was it really? Man, I wish I would have watched that fight. Hughes or Magomedov won. Interesting. All right, let's look at MMA decisions for that one. MMA decisions. This is what I always use to kind of determine if it was a robbery. Let's look at this by event. 2020. Oh my god, this is like okay. Usman versus Hughes, 1 MMA decisions. Here we go. Here we go. Yes. Okay, so you had. Okay, so not a lot of people really scored this one. One judge had it a draw. One judge gave Usman 3 rounds, and so did Sal D'Amato. And actually, all the media had it for Usman, and then only 3 of them had it a draw. So, that doesn't sound like a robbery to me. 3-2. See, like that's the thing is like you guys can't say it was a robbery if it was 3-2. I did have some people telling me the judging was really bad though. No media members scored the fight for Santos. Oh wow, really? That's bad then. It's a clear robbery. There isn't a fight that's close to such egregiousness. Egregious? Pogues is numero uno on Tapology even. And Olberg Jan is second if that says anything. Can you send me that? Like, what are you talking about? Like, controversial decisions? That's interesting, Tyler. That no media. That's bad. When no media scores the fight for the guy who won, that's really bad. Okay, here we go. He's got it right here. Wow, every media member gave the fight for fucking Francis Marshall. Holy shit, that's bad. Pogues is numero uno. That guy doesn't matter though. And those fights don't matter. Meredith Santos versus Francine Marshall takes the cake. Yes, there's a yearly fan vote on Tapology for worst decision. Really? Can you send me that? Francis Marshall is an excellent fighter. He is a really good fighter. Santos one was bad too. Jamal See, these people don't matter. Like, then like, who cares about them? We need like a higher, more eyes on the fight than that. Yeah, can you post that? Where do you find that on Tapology? Let's see. I'll look for it. I guess. I am interested. I think the Francis Marshall. I don't know if I even watched that fight. Maybe I did, but I probably did. Okay, hold on. I like that. I don't even see that on here. Yeah, where are you finding that? I care about Jamal Pogues. Oh my god. Tyler, can you do me a favor? Can you time out Matua for 60 seconds? Yeah, I don't know where you're fucking. Oh, inbox. Okay, thank you. Perfect. Awesome. This is sick. I almost feel like we should just go down the line and see what's the highest. Shevchenko, Fioro, Whitaker to Ritter. Really? That made it on here? Chikadze Onama? Really? Cal Logren and Fletcher? Blahovic and Olberg? 1 minute of no equality. Let's see. Did he time him out? Hell yeah, he did. That's fucking awesome. All right, well, you guys seem to think it's Myron Santos and Francis Marshall, and no media member. What am I? What am I fucking Scandinavian? No media member. All right, we'll go with that one, and we'll move on. Versus Myron Santos. Now hold on one second. I think I want to insert something else. I like that a JCK fight made the list. Yeah, I want to actually throw one out a curveball at you. Tank Davis had a fight with Lamont Roach. And apparently Tank lost the fight clearly and they gave it a draw. You guys know about this? I think that was the one that I heard the most people be like, Tank lost this fight. And then we could kind of throw boxing on there. I know you didn't watch it. And that was actually Tank's last fight, right? I think that was the one I heard the most noise about. And that's a high level fight. I think maybe we should insert that one. Versus Tank Davis. I think that's the one. Bam. It's a really good visual too. All right. I'll vote for that right now. All right, bet. Cool. If we're adding boxing, then really opens up. I've been looking at MMA only. No, we're adding everything. Everything is included. This is a combat sports podcast, not just MMA. I think that everything should be included. Kickboxing too. All right. There you go. Worst decision of the year. Lamont Roach and Tank Davis ends in a draw. Lamont Roach clearly wins the fight. That's the one I heard the most noise about. Okay. Let's go on to another fun one. It's going to be the biggest can of the year. Biggest can of the year. Let's do that. Bada bing, bada boom. Oh. The biggest can of the year. Now, you vote for Pogues to be the biggest can of the year? Or, I watched him fight on Tough Enough. He was the main event. It was weird. I was like, why am I here watching Jamal Pogues fight? Biggest can of the year. So obviously Sir Carrier might have to take it. I thought Cody Brundage should be mentioned. But again, Showether, great member of the Discord and this channel who is at work right now. He said that this guy named Dumar Roa went 0-7, which is bad. So I think Dumas should be mentioned as well. What do you guys think? Biggest can of the year. Sakura is can of the century. The guy is Gable Steveson. What? Damn. That's funny, but there's bigger cans and some kickboxing cards. Which one? Jose Medina, no argument. Lost to Dusko Todorovic and a Tiba Gautier, and all he did was smile at them. Tiba Gautier, though, both Tafa brothers. Dumas can't be on it. The Tafas. The Tafas. So, yeah, Dumar Roa, regional fighter, lost 7 times last year, and 6 of them were by stoppage. You're with denial on the Tafa bros. Now, I do kind of like the thought of all of Gable Stevenson's opponents. That's funny. Now, that's actually really funny. I think that's hilarious. That'd be a hilarious visual. I do like the Taffa brothers. Boucher Ketchup, did he even fight this year? Did Ketchup even fight this year? He won. He has a win this year. He has a win. Tiba Gautier's opponents. Raphael is canned because he swindled his way into UFC, and the announcers had to find a way to talk nice about him. I kind of like all of Gable Stevenson's opponents because he did fight all across combat sports this year. Well, he had only 2 fights this year, right? Let me see. No, he had 2 wins this year against Braden Peterson and Kevin Hine. And then he knocked out what was that guy's name? Something Swanson. Billy Swanson in Dirty Boxing. Yeah, retired on Tapology. I just saw that. Took short notice kickboxing fight and then got slept. He had 3. Is Jubilee? Did you? No, Jubilee debuted like a year or 2 ago, right? Okay, let's look up the Taffa brothers. Justin and Junior Taffa. Patchy looks like a can. So Justin Taffa only had 1 fight. He lost to Taliesin Teixeira. And then Junior Taffa, he has a win. No, they both only lost this year. I think we need somebody. Look at the DBX guy's record. He just gets pulled up to get beaten at every org. So the Taffa brothers collectively fought twice this year, both lost. I feel like somebody needs to lose more to get on the list. But I think it's got to be between Cerqueira and all of Gable Stevenson's opponents. All right. Biggest can of the year. All of Gable's opponents or Raphael Cerqueira. All right, cast your votes. One of those losses for Taffa is one brother taking short notice for the other and losing, I think, which is a solid side note. That is hilarious, actually. I think it's got to be between Gable Stevenson's opponents. I think that would just be funnier to like put on here as well. So I might just do that. But yeah, Cerqueira definitely going 0-3 is really bad. It's really bad. The question is, did he have a win? That's the real question. Should we play some music? What do we got here? No. Make it quieter. Remember the gym teacher on Dana White Contender Series? I don't. Collective cans, yes. I don't remember that. I think that putting like all of Gable Stevenson's opponents would just be way funnier. Because then we're slandering Gable Stevenson. Let's see, Gable Stevenson opponents. LFA. We could probably make it funny though. Like, we could do this. It's somebody. Wait, we went 0-3. You didn't have a single win this year. This, and we did APFC. This fool's on all the juice too. I think this would be fun. I'm probably just gonna do this. I like to slander Gable Steveson whenever I can, and then DBX. He fought Billy Swanson, bro. He fought Billy fucking Swanson. Oh shit! Oops. There we go. Your votes mean nothing to me. Put all the pictures into a trash can. We might be able to do that. Just get a big trash can. Should we put the trash can like here? Like on the trophy. I think we'll do it like that. Okay. Let's do the next one. Our next category. Jeez. Worst retirement of the year. Worst retirement of the year. All right. So we've got Anthony Smith. Somebody suggested Weidman. So Anthony Smith did get knocked out in the first round of his retirement fight. Paul Craig did get knocked out as well. I would like to put Paul Craig on there because there's a certain Scottish person on MMA YouTube that I would like to spite. They probably wouldn't ever see this, but it'd be hilarious if he saw this and saw his hero from his home country. Anthony Smith for real. Yo, what is up, Scott? Good to see you, brother. It might be Anthony Smith. And I think everybody collectively hates Anthony Smith. So somebody suggested Weidman. What was Weidman's last fight? Did he get knocked out? It's probably Anthony Smith. I mean, who are we kidding? This is an easy one, right? Anthony Smith. Yin Yang Zhang. Yeah, anyone really even match that? And he got mad because someone in the crowd after the fight. Did he really? That's pathetic. That's pathetic. All right. I mean, I don't even think this one takes much brain power. All right. Pretty good. All right. Now we've got the worst fight of the year. The worst fight of the year could have been boring. It probably would have to be boring. Yeah, I guess most boring fight of the year. Worst fight of the year. Every boxing fight that happened this year. There was some decent boxing matches. Worst fight of the year. Could it be Arc? That's so funny. That's so funny, Simon Feck. Oh, actually, yeah, for retirement. Could be, but again, you kind of, I know you don't really watch the show, and I know you're a little late, but like, I don't really want to do internet people, like, in this worst of the year award show. That's the last thing I want to do. We could have an honorable mention for it. But yeah, I want to like keep it to combat sports. But yes, good to see you. Yeah, he got smoked and acted like a hoe. Torres Finney versus Robert Valentin. Was it that bad? Are we counting contenders? Any fight. Worst fight of the year. Bigger the stage, the better. God, hold on, let me think. Let me think. Looking back through some main events, I wonder if we have any that can come to mind. UFC events 2025. The Finney fight was shit. Okay, so we had Dern, Rebus, UFC 311. Adesanya, Imanov, man. Oh! Dricus and Hamzat. Right? It's got to be Dricus and Hamzat. Right? No fight was more boring than that at the highest level. That's got to be it. By what metric was that fight not boring? The Finney fight was worse to watch. I think it's got to be Hamzat and Dricus. 100% says Bleachy. It's got to be Hamzat and Dricus. Far and away. Yeah, by what metric was that fight not boring? At least Hamzat was dominant positions and made Dricus look bad. Sure. Finney versus Valentin was worse. God, I don't even remember that fight. It was a dominant performance. It was a dominantly boring performance is what it was. Worst fight. Ank versus Poatan 1 is also up there. Ooh, true. Did that happen this year, though? Not a boring fight. No, worst fight means the most boring fight of the year. Easily. I'm trying to think if there was one in like kickboxing or boxing, though, that was worse. No, because kickboxing is just too good. How about every RWS fight? every single RWS fight. It's part of the criteria. Yeah, this is basically the most boring fight of the year. Worst fight of the year has got to be Hamzat and it's got to be Hamzat and Dricus. Who is sending me stuff? Can people stop sending me stuff? Tyler? What does he have? Hold on. This is actually interesting. Oh my god. 4 of 8, 23 of 39. I was on the Emmett versus Murphy fight night. I think that this is the worst fight. A worst fight, sorry. No? Finney versus Valentin was boring and a poor performance by both fighters. You guys want me to put Torres Finney versus Valentin on an end of the year awards? That's how bad it was. I think that, dude, this was a 25-minute fight of nothing. 4 strikes the entire fight, by the way, from Finney. But how was that fight not dominant too? I can use your guys' criteria against you. You guys just don't like Torres Finney. Like, Hamzat, see, this is why that fight was so bad. Hamzat was expected, like, that was supposed, okay. This is, okay, hold on, put the camera on me. Stop the music. Stop the music. Put the camera on me. Let me explain something to you. Hamzat versus Dricus was supposed to be an amazing fight by every metric. Every metric. Nobody said, yo, Torres Finney versus Robert Valentin, this is going to be a banger on the prelims. Main event, Hamzat versus Dricus. And the fight fucking sucked. And it was boring. And I hated it. And I hated watching it. It's got to win. It's got to win. You guys are crazy. He was amazing. You're stupid. It wasn't bad? What? Weili Shevchenko was a bad fight. MVP versus Shara Bullet also? Nah, I like that fight. Weili versus okay, how about that was a bad fight. That was a bad fight. How about JDM versus Islam? That was a bad fight too. Make it about you? I will. Shevchenko versus Grasa was bad. All of Shevchenko's fights suck. But she's fucking winning. The Furo fight wasn't even that good. JDM versus... But see then, if you guys don't think that Dricus Hamzat was boring, then I guess JDM versus Islam wasn't boring either. Shevchenko versus Weili was a bad fight. That was another fight that was supposed to be really good too. And we could give the women some recognition on this show. Hamzat versus Duplessis versus JD was better than JDM Islam. Okay. 25 minutes of Hamzat sitting on Dricus was excruciating. I totally agree with you. I see, because like I expected, I don't get this logic, guys. I really don't get this logic. JDM versus Islam, I kind of expected could go that way. Hamzat and Dricus, I had such high expectations for that fight. And also, JDM versus Islam wasn't that bad to me because I was watching one. You know what I'm saying? I was watching one while that fight was happening. How about Finney versus Valentina? Worst 3-round fight? Oh, worst 3-round fight. Finney versus Valentine. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll give you guys an honorable mention for that. Judge based off of the criteria. It was the worst fight. It was supposed to be a good... Not just my expectations, everybody's. Like, that fight was supposed to be fucking a banger. Like, no. It's gotta be... Okay, I'll give it an honorable mention. Valentine versus Torres. Finney versus Valentine. And you is the worst championship. Oh, okay. Mine is the worst championship fight. Got you. Ebo versus Billy Elikana. I was expecting it to be an absolute landslide. I was expecting a finish, though. Yes, exactly. Dricus has whack jiu-jitsu. Sure. I see what you're saying. We'll make that an honorable mention. Okay, Scott, let's move on. Okay. And let's do a recap before we move on, because that was the 10th. Oh, that was the 9th one. Okay, whatever, fine. Okay, worst of the year awards. We've got worst organization of the year, GFL. Worst referee of the year, Mark Smith. Worst fighter of the year, Leon Edwards. Worst crash out of the year, Sean Strickland running into the cage after his teammate or guy he was training lost, tried to start a fight with the guy who won. Worst fumble of the year has to be Johnny Eblin getting subbed by Costello Vancinas with 9 seconds left of a fight he was dominating. Worst decision of the year goes to the draw in the Lamont Roach Gervonta Davis fight, where it was ruled a draw. Sorry, I think I just said that. Biggest can of the year is all of Gable Stevenson's opponents. Worst retirement of the year, Anthony Smith. Worst fight of the year, Hamzat and Dricus. Okay, let's move to our next category. Let's harp on this for 30 more minutes. I'll open up the panel after this if you guys want. By the time JDM Islam was live, I had PTSD from Dricus versus Hamzat. The fact that neither of those fights had finishes was complete ass. I was watching one, so I didn't care. All right, next one is going to be the worst commentator of the year. The worst commentator of the year. It's gotta go to Joe Rogan, right? I don't see how it couldn't go to Joe Rogan. I think he needs to be off the broadcast. Worst commentator of the year. Gotta be Joe Rogan, right? Recount demanded. No, I overrided the vote. I don't give a fuck about your counts, your votes. It's got to be Joe Rogan. The commentators for the Jake Paul fights are the worst. Who are they? Rogan, Bisping. Rogan over Bisping. DC is the worst. Interesting. Any logic behind any of those votes, or just my iPad is on 4%? GG. Bisping had some questionable moments though. All right, for sure, Bleachy. I appreciate you hopping in though. Bisping is pretty bad. He is. I'll listen to Bisping is worse than Rogan, but we need some examples. I have plenty for Rogan. See, Bisping, the problem with Bisping is he puts his own bias into what's going on in the fight. Remember when he cut off John Gooden? He cut off John Gooden and he was like, no. At least Joe Rogan's not dreaming about food the whole time like DC is. Okay, but like DC actually has something to add to a broadcast when it comes to wrestling. In my opinion, Joe Rogan tries to add stuff, but there's nothing there. It's like the most pointless nonsense that he adds to a broadcast. So therefore, I feel like Rogan's really bad. Bisping is bad too. Can we do a double award and give it to Bisping and Rogan? At least Rogan can articulate the nuances of the grappling exchanges in a clear, digestible way. Sure. He overglazes people. Bisping is kind of rude to his commentary team. He had one moment of, you know what? Bisping is pretty bad because he'll argue with, like if you guys disagree on something, he'll just keep going. Like on a commentary, it's like, no, let's keep moving on. Let's keep the broadcast pushing. I think you make a fair point, Matua. And I, like I said, I'm willing to listen to that. I think that DC has his bad moments, but all in all, I don't always mind DC as much. I think that when he's teamed up with Rogan, it's especially bad, especially when Bisping and Rogan are teamed up. So why don't let's put this to a vote. Worst commentator. Like, if you could kick off one commentary person, would it be Rogan or would it be Bisping? Of the year. Rogan. Bisping. I used to really enjoy Bisping's commentary when I first started watching. I thought he was funny, but they're both pretty distasteful. Can it be Mitch Chilson? I hate Mitch Chilson. He just screams incessantly. I'm gonna nominate him. Worst commentator of the year. Rogan. Bisping. If you had to choose between Bisping, Scott, and Rogan, who would you choose? I want to nominate Mitch Chilson. I fucking hate Mitch Chilson, dude. He just screams so much, and he pisses me off, and I hate him. Let me put it to you this way. I hate Mitch Chilson more than I hate Kevin Holland. Rogan, okay. I think DC's okay. I really don't hate DC. You like Bisping because he's English? You just like hearing the English accent? I can totally relate to that. Yeah, I got the vote back up. Okay, we got 2 votes for Mitch Chilson. Love it. I'm loving this right now. I hate Mitch Chilson so much. He pisses me off. The Dragon. Whatever happened to Rich Franklin? Whatever happened to Rich Franklin on on fucking One Championship commentary. Oh, I know. He talked to the and he was never seen again. Some say he's in Chaudhry jail to this day. Which, by the way, we'll be making a Chaudhry jail song. Stay tuned for that. I hate Bisping because he's English. Bisping has no better charisma than Rogan, though. Sure. We've got 3 votes. We're losing people. We're losing people. That's not Mitch Chilson. It totally is Mitch Chilson. You're thinking of Michael Chavello. Okay, worst coach. Worst coach of the year. Our worst coach up next. Who was the worst coach this year? Do you give it to okay, like you could give it to Dricus's coach. You could give it to some people were saying Sean O'Malley's coach. While you guys think of the worst coach, I'm gonna get some water. Give me a second. It's got to be the coach. They got his fighter to throw that fight. Did his coach do it? See, again, you're just making up stuff that we don't know. I think you're thinking of James Krause, and that wasn't Isaac Bulgarian's coach. He did train at James Krause's camp, but Rafael Cerquera's coach. What's his name? Can you give me a picture of him? Yeah, all I can really think of is Dricus's coach. But I guess I don't know. Rafael Cerquera's coach definitely deserves a mention. For sure. We might just do that one. That's actually a good suggestion. Tim Welch went 0-2 this year. Does he coach anybody else? Doesn't he coach I don't know. Hamdi Abdel Wahhab's coach. I think I just came up with a new category. Biggest, like, worst person in MMA. It's got to be Ali Abdelaziz, right? His coach is Brian Wright. Oh, sounds like a bad coach. I wouldn't get coached by a guy named Brian Wright. Not if my life depended on it. I guess we're just doing Rafael Cerquera's coach if nobody else has any suggestions. We could do like worst gym and have it be fighting nerds, yeah? Does anyone know who his fucking coach is? You say it's Brian Wright. He trains at Galpao de Luta. The owner is... I guess we could do the owners of this gym. And we got to get something funnier up here. That doesn't work for me. Bryce Mitchell's coach. Who is Bryce Mitchell's coach? Ollie, undefeated, undisputed. What does that have to do with anything? Matua. Oh, he's speaking German. What's up, Leandro? Do we even care about this category? Should we switch it to worst team, worst gym? We're gonna switch it to worst gym, and we're gonna make it the Fighting Nerds. Did the Fighting Nerds have a win this year? It's gonna be worst gym now. We're switching it. We're not getting enough suggestions. Fighting Nerds gym. They had a bad streak this year, though. And Carlos Prates, though, kind of carried the gym. All these fools lost. Fuck. We're gonna switch it to worst gym, though. Yo, what is up, Useless? Good to see you, brother. Just making our way through this award show. James Krause coaches Bryce Mitchell. I don't think he does. Prates loses. Oh, he did lose. Did he? Who the fuck did he lose to? Why am I not remembering? Did he lose? Silva lost his streak. I think it's got. We're gonna switch it because you guys didn't have really a lot of suggestions for the worst coach. There wasn't like a far and away worst coach either. I feel like it's got to be Ian Gary. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Thank you. Yeah, we'll do that. You guys seem to be getting tired of this show. That's all right. We'll keep it rolling. We've got the worst fan base. You already know what this is going to be. It's going to be UFC fans. You guys all are terrible. The worst fan base. Let's see. We need a good picture of UFC fans. Yes, you terrible. I only watch the UFC. And you guys are the worst, too, because of your online culture. You guys are terrible. You guys do constant drama panels, drama streams. Yeah, it's got to be UFC fans easily take the cake. Probably, and will, probably every single year for the worst fan base. Nothing but drama from you guys. All you care about is gambling. Don't even watch any other combat sports. Only care about the UFC. It's got to be the UFC fans as the worst fan base. Easily going to take the cake every year. Okay, next we have the worst nut shot. Dick kick, stick poke. I mean, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be... That's going to be the next one. The worst nut shot. Worst nut shot. Worst low blow. There we go. Worst low blow. What is the worst low blow of the year? Really. The worst low blow of the year. What is it? Dumas received the worst groin shot. True. Zachary Reese versus Sequidrius Dumas. That was a really bad one. Yeah. Kevin Holland. Didn't he get dick kicked like 2 or 3 times in that fight? But the one on Cedric how do you say his name? The one on Dumas, it like put him out. Like he was done. That's got to be the worst one. Can we think of any other ones that were in a different organization? I saw some bad ones on one that stopped the fight. But yeah, Dumas probably takes the cake for that. Dumas. Low blow. Oh, nice. This is a great picture for it. Love it. Yep, that's got to be it. We're moving through these now. Love it. Okay. The next one will be worst way to win a fight, and it's got to be Joshua Van, right? It's got to be Joshua Van, but I also think that it's got to be Joshua Van. Worst. Let's see. I think that Cortez Acosta and Ante D'Elia deserve an honorable mention. Waldo. It's got to be Joshua Van. Song Yadong. How did Song Yadong win a fight? What happened to him? Worst way to win a fight. Worst way to win a fight. Song Yadong. You think his was worse, huh? What happened? What happened there? I forgot. Eye poke, then technical decision. Delvalier. That might be the worst way to win a fight. It's fixed. Shit. Simon Feck comes in with a good suggestion. Wow. Who would have thought? Oh man. So you would actually consider that worse than the Joshua Van win? Fuck, it might be. That's good. I like that. All right, let's do that. Let's slap in those in a poll. How about we do that? Worst way to win a fight. Remember that guy that wrecked his knee in Karate Combat? I don't. Was it really? Oh yeah, and he had to get stretchered out. I like that. Let's see. Del Val fixed fight. Song Yadong. Eye poke tech decision. Van wins belt. Breaks arm. And then guy. Well, who was that guy? Wasn't it it was Raphael Alves. Raphael Alves Rex knee. All right, there you go. Didn't somebody get kicked in the eye this year and then like the fight got called that way? Simon Feck, great suggestion. I forgot about that. So we got a vote for Van, 2 votes for Van, and another vote for Delvalier. What's worse though? It's probably got to be Joshua Van. Only if it was fraud, though. Probably was. The evidence is more in favor of it being fraudulent than not, right? Joshua Van. And it was a title. Can we get a better pick? I guess not. We got a couple. We can get a couple. Can put on here. I think just because he won a title, it's got to be the worst. All right. I remember the Cardi Combat thing because it took 10 minutes to get to the stretcher. Oh my god, that's so right. That was bad. Did that guy actually win though? All right. Anyway, yeah, it's got to go to old Joshua Van. All right. We got another one. We got the worst eye poke, which there was a really bad one in Ryzen. I know you guys don't watch Ryzen. Most people don't watch Ryzen. It was a really bad one. That one sucked ass. Now, Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gahn should probably take the cake. Here, let's see. But the eye poke wasn't really that bad, right? Like, well, I guess it didn't seem... It wasn't, like, as gruesome to watch. Okay, let's do this. The eye poking award. Let's do this. Worst eye poke. Another clear winner. See, the eye poke wasn't that bad, though, right? Like, I did see some worst eye pokes, but yeah, you're right. Very clear winner. Like, visually, it wasn't that bad. At least he didn't win the fight off of it, right? God damn it, look at that. Just the ramifications of the eye poke are the worst, right? Yeah. All right, cool. And then we'll go with worst intermission performance. All right. Now, we all love intermissions. Don't know if anyone's really going to vote on this one. So Matua, if he's still here, he's the intermission expert. Intermission performance. Should that even... Maybe it should just be an honorable mention, because I got that guy who... The Japanese guy who started playing reggae and screaming at everybody. Worst intermission performance. Every performance at PFL Africa. What about? Did they do him on the Jake? No, they do him on the Turkey Al Sheik. Those ones are actually like good musical performances, though, right? Live performance by Sway Lee at the PFL World Tournament Finals. Wow, that's it. That's the one. I mean, Sway Lee. Let me see. He did perform at the PFL. Why? But why? It's like it's so random. That was so random. He totally did. I forgot about that. The World Tournament Finals. It was Sway Lee just stinking up the joint. That's got to be the one, right? I don't think anyone else is going to vote, and I don't really have one. And I can't find a picture of the one that happened at the Yabuki and Alvarado card. Intermission performance. The horrible rendition of American National Anthem at the Jake Paul event. There was a boxing card I was watching with Cool Breeze, and they had a Russian ensemble dancers. That actually sounds cool, though. See? All right. We're getting to the end of the show here, so. Worst name of the year is gonna go to Damian Pinas. Yes. 100%. It's gotta go to him. Worst name of the year. There was a guy in one that his name was Bin Laden. That's a pretty bad name. But yeah, it's gotta go to Damian, old Damian Pinas. Worst name of the year. All right, that's it. And then we got to do some honorable mentions. So, and we will be watching his fight in February, and we will be loudly cheering for Mr. Pinas. Yes. Jeez, I can't believe that's a guy's name. All right, honorable mentions would be so let's do this. We should give them like a smaller trophy, yeah? They can't get the big trophy. Small trophy. Maybe like, let's do this. Oh shit, my text box went away. Oops. Let's see, like stupidest fight. And that would be Ante D'Elia and Waldo Cortez Acosta. Hold on, let's see how we're gonna do this. Let's do it like this. And we'll just put this in there. Yeah, okay. That works. Yeah, the stupidest fight. Ante D'Elia and the coach sleeping Wanderlei. You want that as an honorable mention? Is this going to be one big clip or a slideshow? I'm gonna probably make it a slideshow, and I'll just talk over it. Yeah, the stupidest fight. Anyone that has an honorable mention before we get out of here, let me know. Ante D'Elia versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. The double knockout. That's got to go up there as an honorable mention. Yep, stupidest fight award, honorable mention. Oh shit, actually, here, let's do this. Let's do this. Delete. Duplicate. Okay. Stupidest or dumbest? Dumbest. All right, and then we've got Kennedy versus Marcus Buchecha. Nah, I won money on that one, so I don't really hate that. I like that one. And then we've got Arman pulling out. God, what would you even call that? Because I mean, it is a big fumble. Best way to get the UFC mad at you, or I don't know. The UFC's biggest loser? I don't know. Something like that. Guess we'll just use this YouTuber Kenny Okoye's thumbnail. Oh, come on. And then we've got another one. Okay, dumbest fight. Let's put this one over. And then you guys wanted me to say the most boring fight was Torres, Finney, and Robert Valentin. Torres, Finney, Robert Valentin. Torres, Finney, Robert Valentin. You boys hated this fight. 4 significant strikes landed for Torres, Finney in this fight. Okay, any other honorable mentions we wanna put out there before we wrap it up? Gayest fight? Zachary Reese versus Dumas is a stupid fight. Arman versus the fans. And put the coach sleeping Wanderlei as a crash out honorable mention. I guess. Most embarrassing moment, I guess. Do we have a good picture of it though? Oh my gosh. This is bad. Disgraceful moment of 2025. Bam. There you go. Did you forget to do worst event? Oh my god, I did. You're right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're absolutely right. I did. Thank you. Yes, the worst event. Now, the worst event's gonna be Beyond Combat, I think. Duplicate page. Worst event. Event of the year. It would either be the first Dirty Boxing or Beyond Combat. And Fight Circus should get... See, the issue with Fight Circus is like nobody watched it, right? It's gonna be Beyond Combat. Not only did the event have what was it, 12 fights that took 10 hours, but it also had the main event ended in a draw, which means it should have went to an extra round. And oh my god. They just like sat there for 20 minutes and didn't even do the extra round. And nobody lost. They called it a draw. Yeah, it was Beyond Combat 6. And it was 59,000 rupiah. I mean, come on. For that? Honorable mentions are Fight Circus and UFC Fight Night Blanchfield versus Barber. Do a podium for worst event because there's a handful. Okay, you can do an honorable mention for this one, I suppose. For Fight Circus. I mean, I don't know though, man. I mean, yeah, all right. It was funny. It was really funny though. How about dumbest event? Dumbest event of the year. What was it called again? Fight Circus Sabotage. That's right. Cool. Bam, you got it. You got it. Oh, that stream was amazing. That was one of the best streams we've ever done. All right, so this is a recap. Let's do a recap. This might end up just being the video. I kind of feel like the slideshow should... We could just make a video out of this really quick. Be easier. I feel like it'd be better if I just talked over it. And then just like put some music over it, you know? I don't know. All right, let's get this out of here. All right. All right. I might make a, I don't know, maybe I'll make a separate video out of this. I don't know. All right, so we just wrapped up the worst. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me turn this goddamn godforsaken music off. All right, we just finished up the worst of the year 2025 awards in combat sports. And let's take a little trip down memory lane, shall we? Up first, we had the worst organization of the year. And far and away, that goes to the GFL, the Global Fight League, the organization that never was. Ariel Helwani promised us for years that this event would have a show, and it never did. Never did. They couldn't get the money. They offered the fighters a split of the profits. Ultimately, nobody really got paid. And I actually know somebody personally who was supposed to fight on the card and never fought. And yeah, so it's got to be the GFL, worst promotion of the year, worst organization of the year. Never even got their first event off. The worst referee of the year has to be Mark Smith. Lambasted all year long for bad calls. Even had a fight with a double knockout, not in the way you're thinking. Ante D'Elia knocked out Waldo Cortez Acosta. And then, just kidding, Mark Smith restarts the fight. And then Waldo Cortez Acosta wins by knockout. So no other referee, in my opinion, got the spotlight for doing such poor work than one Mr. Mark Smith. So congratulations, Mark Smith. You won the worst referee of the year. Worst fighter of the year goes to Leon Edwards. Not only did he get absolutely dominated by Sean Brady and sub, but he got viciously knocked out by Carlos Prates. Here was a fighter who was once champion, losing in a really, really bad way. Uncompetitive fights. Worst fight of the year. Congratulations, Leon Edwards. The worst crash out of the year has to be Sean Strickland. His team member, or like a guy he was coaching, lost a fight in a regional promotion. What does Sean Strickland do? Well, he gets into the cage and he tries to assault the man. And I think he actually did hit him at one point. Chris Curtis has to break the fight up because Sean Strickland is more emotionally immature than Chris Curtis somehow, which is hilarious. So congratulations to Sean Strickland. You win the worst crash out of the year. The worst fumble of the year has to go to one Mr. Johnny Eblen. Now, Johnny Eblen fought Costello Van Steenis for the Bellator middleweight title. He was dominating Costello Van Steenis for the entire fight. And then somehow, with 9 seconds left, Costello Van Steenis locks in the rear naked choke. Fight's over. Johnny Eblen loses his belt. Hasn't fought since. Congratulations to Johnny Eblen. You win the worst fumble of the year. Worst decision of the year has to go to Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach. Out of every fight this year, this is the one that the most people hit me up and were like, did you see this fight? Lamont Roach clearly beat Tank Davis, and they just went to a draw. So, yeah, congratulations to Tank. You win the worst decision of the year. Biggest gift decision of the year. And you didn't lose, but you got the draw, which you should have lost. So, the biggest can of the year goes to every single one of Gable Stevenson's opponents. He got a really quick first-round knockout in LFA, a really quick first-round knockout in Anthony Pettis FC, and he also knocked out Billy Swanson in the first round on Dirty Boxing. And none of these guys landed a punch on Gable, and he took them out very, very quickly. So, yes, biggest can of the year goes to all of you. Congratulations, especially to Billy Swanson. You win biggest can of the year. Worst retirement of the year, Anthony Smith getting knocked out in the first round against Ming Yang Zhang. Everybody hates Anthony Smith. And I think we're all very happy to see him brutally knocked out in his retirement fight. He also got into a confrontation with somebody in the crowd after he had been knocked out in his retirement fight. So, congratulations, Anthony Smith. You win worst retirement of the year. The worst fight of the year. Now, this was a hotly contested one in the chat. I think that it is far and away Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus du Plessis. Not merely because the buildup to this fight. This was a fight I was so excited for. I hadn't been this excited for a fight in a very, very long time. And it turned out to be 25 minutes of Khamzat, the guy who finishes everybody, fights like a crazy person. Khamzat just laid on Dricus du Plessis for 25 minutes, and that was it. It was boring. It sucked. Hated it. Some people were defending this fight, saying it was actually good and or it was impressive. Well, I do think it was impressive to see a new wrinkle to Khamzat's game, in which he had patience. This was the worst fight of the year, far and away for me. So congratulations to both men, Dricus and Khamzat. You win worst fight of the year. The worst event of the year was Beyond Combat 6. Now you might be saying, but Combat Casual, what the hell is Beyond Combat 6? To which I would say exactly. This was a 10-hour event with 12 fights. I did the calculations. That's 0.8 fights per hour. Now, the fights were actually not that bad. I actually quite enjoyed doing this stream. 81,000 views, my most viewed live stream of all time. Whenever Beyond Combat does another event, I'll be right there covering it. You better guarantee it. But yeah, this easily takes the cake as the worst event of the year because of how long it took for fights to actually happen. And there was a lot of really stupid fights. Like they had influencer fights. Guys with like 500,000 subscribers on like Instagram would fight each other. And in the event was just, like I said, a lot of the fights were really good. You had this really fun moment where a cameraman got knocked out. That was really funny. But yeah, and then the main event, which we'd all been waiting for, ended in a draw, which in the rule set of this organization, a draw has to go an extra round. So 20 minutes go by, and they determine one of the fighters can't continue. So, like, the other guy should win, right? Nope. They ended in a draw, and they announced that these two will headline the next event. God. Congratulations, Beyond Combat. And CeeLo, I believe, is the owner of the organization's name. Congratulations for putting on the worst event of the year. The worst commentator of the year has to go to Mitch Chilson. Another tight voting race this time. It was between Bisping, Rogan, DC was thrown in there. But Mitch Chilson took the cake because of his incessant screaming. A lot of the time doesn't really add anything to a fight, just screams somebody's name or repeats himself constantly. Can't stand Mitch Chilson. I can hear him yelling from Thailand when I have the commentary turned down. So yeah, Mitch Chilson, worst commentator of the year by far. The worst gym of the year goes to the Fighting Nerds. I know Carlos Prates has, put himself back in contention. Congratulations to him. But every single one of the Fighting Nerds took a really bad L this year. And for a gym that was riding into the year with a lot of potential and hype, these guys all fumbled the bag. Congratulations to the Fighting Nerds for taking home the worst gym. The worst fan base goes to the UFC. They have the worst fan base of all time. Degenerate gamblers, people who don't respect martial arts, just want to see people that expect like the best show ever out of the UFC and think every other promotion is absolutely terrible. What else can we really say about the UFC fan base? Oh, on YouTube, they're the worst because not only do all they care All they care about is drama. They all do these like panel streams and talk crap about each other. It's really fascinating to watch the ecosystem of the UFC fan base grow and grow over time, and just how terrible the UFC fans are. So shout out to the UFC fan base for being the worst fan base probably every year. The worst low blow has to go to Dumas versus Zach Reese. He kicked him in the dick something fierce in this fight, and he was in agonizing pain. Funny enough, he had been let off house arrest, Dumas did, to compete in this fight. Then he gets kicked in the dick. I thought it was really funny, but it was a really bad low blow. Also really funny. So shout out to Zach Reese and Dumas for giving us the worst low blow of the year. Worst way to win a fight has to go to Joshua Van. What can you really say? First exchange of the fight, Pantoja tries to kick him. Van grabs the kick, puts Pantoja on his ass. He posts, breaks his arm. Dana White said, no, he didn't break his arm. He just dislocated his shoulder. That looks like an arm break to me. But anyway, worst way to win a fight and a title nonetheless. Got to go to Joshua Van. Shout out to you, Joshua Van. The worst eye poke, I think this is very obvious, has to be Cyril Gane versus Tom Aspinall. We don't even know if Tom Aspinall is going to fight again. So, yeah. What can you really say? Very unfortunate. Heavyweight title fight, nonetheless. Congratulations to Cyril Gane and Tom Aspinall for giving us the worst eye poke of the year. The worst intermission performance has to go to Sway Lee at the PFL World Tournament. This was just absolutely terrible. Couldn't understand a word he said. Yeah, congratulations to Sway Lee for giving us the worst intermission performance of the year. The worst name of the year has to go to Damian Pinas. Damian Pinas has the worst name of the year. UFC fans, we're never going to get over this one. I'm going to laugh every single time this guy fights and make tons of jokes. So congratulations to Damian Pinas for having the worst name of the year. And now some honorable mentions. The dumbest fight of the year has to go to Waldo Cortez Acosta and Ante D'Elia. Both men knocked each other out. Waldo Cortez Acosta declared the winner. Gotta love it. The UFC's biggest loser has to be Arman Tsarukyan. He pulled out of a title fight, and the UFC is probably never going to get him back in there again. And he really screwed up pulling out of that fight. So congratulations to Arman for being the UFC's biggest loser. The most disgraceful moment of 2025 goes to the man who knocked out Vanderlei Silva after his boxing match. Man. Out cold. Yeah, poor Vanderlei. Most disgraceful moment of 2025, for sure. And the dumbest event of the year has to go to Fight Circus Sabotage. Now, I did do a fight companion for this. A lot of people asked me how. I had an inside guy. He streamed it off of his phone. And boy, was it dumb, because Fight Circus is always dumb, but it's like fun, you know, how dumb it is. This was dumb because all of the fights were fake. It was like a pro wrestling event. And I thought that them doing a Fight Circus in America could come with some bad consequences, because I wasn't sure how they would get a lot of the fights sanctioned. And turns out they said, I know what we'll do. We'll have a pro wrestling match, pro wrestling event. And that's exactly what they did. So, yeah, there you go. Dumbest event of the year goes to Fight Circus. There you go, guys. That's it. That's the 2025 Worst of the Year awards. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for voting. And that's it for me. We'll see you guys in the year 2026. And I think it's time to wrap it up.
What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up. Wrap that up, B.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Man, you want some too? You better wrap it up. You better wrap that